Andy Ramirez is one of those in cryo sleep on a mining corporation's spaceship that is flying to another planet. However, the ship is unlucky and collides with a meteorite, after which the emergency mode is triggered. Andy wakes up from the voice of Leonard's personal AI. It dresses the man in a spacesuit, after which his escape capsule is thrown into space. Later, Leonard informs Andy that his capsule is falling on the nearest planet. Andy comes to his senses already on the surface. The harsh landscapes around do not inspire optimism, and the limited supply of oxygen prompts him to action. Andy tries to find other survivors and turns on communication devices. But Leonard reports that the terrain is unstable and it is better to leave the capsule. However, the ejection lever does not work. Andy persuades himself not to panic and tries to knock out the glass of the capsule. However, the capsule turns over, damaging the spacesuit. Andy immediately seals the hole, but the oxygen level inside is rapidly falling. The electronics catch fire. Andy tries to undermine the soil under the capsule and finally gets out. Leonard reports that he has found the lead ship, and the guy immediately sees a burning giant that falls on the planet. The blast wave is quite strong and throws the man back. He asks Leonardo to plot the trajectory of his flight to understand where he ended up. The results are disappointing. The planet is uninhabited, but Andy has the right to name it as the discoverer. The man swears that Leonard accepts the proposed name of the planet and records it in the star registry. There are no troops now. Then Andy sees a glowing object nearby and decides to reach it, vainly calling at least one of the survivors. Soon he finds a rescue capsule, but the person inside didn't survive. Then Andy sees a flashing light in the distance and orders Leonard to make a way to it, although the oxygen level is decreasing. Soon he finds a site surrounded by signal lights, which another surviving astronaut sets up. Andy asks for help, but Dwayne, that is the name of the survivor, does not know where to get oxygen. He says that he checked the flight records and realized that the company decided to save on fuel because they sent the ship through the meteorite belt. Dwayne intends to use the signal communication to send a request for help. However, it will take as long as 9 months to get to Earth. Having received it, the rescuers will send a ship for them, and in a year and a half at best, they will be rescued. In the meantime, the man asks Andy to inspect the wreckage and take what might be useful. Then he knocks down one of the lights and turns away, so he does not see how something quickly drags Dwayne away. He tries to find him, shouts, and goes around the site, but the man is nowhere to be found. Andy takes his gun and decides to expand the search area. Leonard reports on parts of the lead ship scattered across the surface, and Andy begins to go around them. He again periodically calls the survivors, and suddenly a female voice is heard on the air. The girl calls herself Naomi and explains that she cannot get out of the rescue capsule because her legs are crushed, and plots a course to her location. Leonard warns that the terrain ahead is constantly changing and visibility is getting worse. In addition, the calculated distance reaches 7 miles, so the astronaut will hardly have enough oxygen, which he tells Naomi. The girl reminds that for now she has enough oxygen for 2, and then they will decide what to do next. Andy sets off while Naomi tells that she was born in London, although her parents are from South Asia. Andy in response says that he worked as a miner, although before that he was a musician and even planned to open his own school. Naomi is surprised by such a change of profession, but then the man notices something strange and asks Leonardo to scan the area. Naomi chuckles, learning that Leonard is still connected to his suit, which has long been discontinued. They begin to discuss various things with Naomi, while Andy makes his way through the stone canyons of the planet in the dark. Suddenly, it seems to him that he hears some noise, but then silence falls. He goes on, telling Naomi about Dwayne, because he thinks that he simply ran away when he heard that Andy needed air. Then he hears strange sounds again and sees a hole in the ground, and soon finds a large hole covered in cobwebs. He gets scared and leaves this place, explaining to the girl that he hates spiders because his wife studied them. He hurries in the direction he needs, calming the girl, while she remembers the last mission she participated in. She does not understand why he flew into space. Andy turns the conversation to his son, who is 5 years old but very smart. Only his family is gone. Naomi sympathizes. Meanwhile, the man senses danger and asks the girl to turn off the lights in the capsule. But she suddenly notices a lot of trackers that are moving straight to the place where the man is standing. However, neither Andy nor Leonard see anyone. And then he fires a rocket, in the light of which they see giant silhouettes of spider-like creatures in front of them. The frightened miner starts to run, and one of the creatures follows him. Andy falls into a crevice and runs along a stone corridor while the spider pursues him above. But then the guy trips and flies into a huge cavity in the ground. Having fallen to the bottom, he gradually comes to his senses, hearing the voice of Naomi, who asks him not to leave her. He says that they were chasing him, but the girl just receives a signal that his suit is punctured. Andy repairs the spacesuit with the last sealant, and then another voice breaks into the air. Dwayne asks Andy to help him defeat the creatures. Naomi detects the astronaut tracker and directs Andy in that direction, but he intends to reach it first and replenish his oxygen supply, although Dwayne's voice launches a rocket. Andy turns in his direction. Soon he sees a group of broken capsules, among which a man tries to resist a huge spider. Naomi suggests Andy take advantage of the presence of the bodies to distract the monsters, and when the spiders almost reach him, communication signals sent by Naomi begin to be heard from all the capsules. Andy hides in the broken ship, but the face of a Dwayne appears in the porthole, and Andy runs away. The spider rushes after him, but for some reason stops. The guy understands that the monsters intend to find and open Naomi's capsule. He asks the girl to save herself. These creatures open the capsules like cans of tuna, and she reminds him of her pinned leg and admits that she can no longer feel it. Then Andy starts singing a song that he sang to his son when he was afraid of something. The girl suddenly notices that the spider trackers are gone, but Andy has very little oxygen left. Suddenly, fireflies start flying around the man. Then these creatures start attacking Andy. He understands why the spiders didn't go that way and runs towards Naomi's capsule. Soon he gets out of the firefly zone, but almost immediately his feet fall into someone's huge mouth, which starts sucking him in. Naomi asks him not to panic, but Andy disappears into the mouth of an unknown creature. The girl begs him not to pass out, but the miner is already inside the monster. He asks Leonardo for help, citing a heart attack, and he turns on the defibrillator. The creature doesn't like the electric shock, and it spits the man out. However, it tries to eat him again. Andy starts running towards some kind of earthen growth and falls into a cave, where he is attacked by fireflies again. However, he gets out and finally sees Naomi's capsule. He runs to it, but the oxygen is almost zero. Andy makes it in time. The girl lets him in and connects her hose to his spacesuit. Having caught his breath, he frees her legs. When he succeeds, they freeze for a couple of minutes, looking at each other. Having caught their breath and come to their senses, they go outside. Andy puts a splint on the girl's leg and she feels relieved, but it is still hard for her to walk. Then she sees Dwayne's gun, which as it turns out is just a little stuck, and Naomi fixes it. The couple sees spiders that begin to surround them. The people start running and soon find themselves at the wrecked ship. The astronauts try to hide behind the debris, and when the spider catches up with them, Naomi shoots and destroys the monster. Others come to replace it, and the couple runs on. And at the very last moment, they see the surviving central block of the ship and get inside. Naomi understands that it is impossible to get into the cargo bay. There is a lot of damage inside, and the couple just goes at random. It is good that at least the emergency lighting works, which means that the backup generators are still in operation. Soon they see a warehouse with food. In addition, the devices show a stable atmosphere inside. But then the couple sees a trail on the floor, and after walking along it, they get to the bridge, where the spider is already waiting for them. The people hide and the monster passes by, but as soon as they try to get out, the creature immediately appears in front of them. Andy mistakenly closes the hermetic doors, and the couple finds themselves cut off in a chamber between the warehouse and the bridge. Andy tries to open the doors to the warehouse, but nothing works. And then Naomi gives up. She takes off her helmet and says that it's over. Andy takes off his helmet too and asks Leonardo to play the recording from February 15th. His handheld communicator turns on a video frame of his wife and son. Andy says that on his birthday, they got into an accident and he lost his family. He thinks that it's his fault, although the truck driver broke the rules. That's why he flew into space to spend his days here. But Naomi reminds him that she personally is alive thanks to him. What he did today showed that he can be relied on. And then the spider begins to destroy the wall, and the couple hug, preparing for the attack. Suddenly, Naomi notices a lump on his back with glowing bugs inside. The man realizes that it is a firefly egg, and as soon as the spider opens the door, Naomi throws it at the spider. The fireflies fly out and attack the monster, and their ship warns of evacuation and opens the doors to the warehouse. People run there while Spider fights the insects. However, it manages to run to the warehouse after the people, and while the girl takes the monster away, Andy finds a working capsule and turns off all the lights in the hangar. Spider loses Naomi, but feels that she is somewhere here. At this time, Andy asks Leonardo to turn on the capsule, but this happens for a very long time. And then the man sees Naomi, hung with lanterns, who leads Spider to him. Leonard disables the holding capsule of the slipway, and while Andy has a vision of the crash, the car falls right on top of the monster. Naomi pulls out the unconscious Andy and begs him to wake up, and when he opens his eyes, the girl congratulates him on destroying the spider. Then they see the sun rising over the planet through the observation window. Andy reminds them that rescuers will not arrive for at least a year and a half, and Naomi suggests moving in together. Leonard plays an old song that Naomi could not remember all this time, and the couple join hands.